The very serious stakes tonight for American foreign policy. Let's get right to the former director of the CIA, James Woolsey, who's also a senior Trump advisor. From Israel to Russia, Mr. Director, it really looks like on his way out the door, President Obama is blindsiding the president-elect.
Well, I think President Obama is not taking any particularly effective action against anyone. He's barely getting by. His propensity for dealing with what his White House calls the narrative, starting with the story you want and working backward to the facts, and then if the facts don't mesh, you kind of say whoops and sort of fiddle around with the facts. He has gotten himself, I think, into a situation where he's trying to control everything, President Obama is, but failing badly. He, for example, seems to want to be the investigator, prosecutor, judge, and jury for everything having to do with this hacking. But he's not got the credibility, I don't think, to carry it off. People see that he thinks the hacking is important and serious, and it's one of the things that I think is degrading a lot of people's assessment of the hacking.
Mr. Director, earlier this morning on Fox and Friends, I asked Rudy Giuliani about all of this, and he also ripped into the president. Listen to this.
Barack Obama's made these decisions in the last 3 weeks on Israel, on Russia, and elsewhere. Is he trying to box in the president-elect? What's he trying to do?
Of course. Why didn't the 18 months of hacking? Why did he do something about it 10 months ago? It never would have happened. After all that, and letting this go for 18 months, 2 weeks before he goes out of office, he does a bunch of these sanctions just to create a problem for Russia. I've never seen a president try to create more problems for a future president.
So how, I think the big question is, how does President-elect Trump pick up the pieces on this and try to repair this key relationship with Russia?
I don't know that he's got a lot of repairing to do. I think people have exaggerated the notion that by saying more or less friendly things on several occasions in response to what Putin has said, that he's somehow embracing the Russians or giving in to them. I don't think Trump has really done that. I've negotiated on 4 major treaties with the then Soviet Union. 3 of them, they were very hard to get along with. We never really got anywhere. There was table pounding, etc. On the 4th one, we negotiated a very substantial treaty in 5 languages covering all the nations of Europe's military forces. And the Russians were really very easy to get along with. They wanted to work on the problem. So, you know, there are Russians and then there are Russians. And if you can work with them on something, okay, give it a try. Sure. If not, then I think Teddy Roosevelt had it right. Speak softly, but carry a big stick.
Right. But in this case, you have a situation where the president of Russia, as you know, has led with an iron fist. He's hardly been small d Democrat. And the intelligence agencies, as you know better than anyone, are suggesting that they were interfering in the American election process. And so I wonder, why is Donald Trump out there saying he's a very smart man? Well,
that's still, you know, not some kind of giving in. That's a light compliment, I would say. And one sometimes does that in diplomacy. But he didn't give anything up by saying that. He didn't give anything away. And I think that it's important that Obama really has been so badly weakened by the way he has handled all this that he's increasingly irrelevant. People really don't care that much. These sanctions are a nothing burger. Yeah. They involve 35 Russian intelligence officers and their families having to move back to Russia, and probably about another 35 moving to the United States. And we closed down a couple of 2 summer houses that the Russian embassy. You know, so what?
Right, but moving forward then, that's an interesting assessment, but moving forward, are you saying that complimenting Putin on Twitter is not a big deal and maybe opens the door to working with him on the ceasefire in Syria? Is that the Trump view, that a compliment here or there will open the door to diplomacy?
I'm just stating my own views, and I think it depends on the circumstances. Sometimes Putin is being very clever in the way he's handling this. He's got this steered over in a direction such that he's making the issue of sanctions look tiny by comparison. Basically, he's using the sanctions now as an occasion to invite American children to the Kremlin for a New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically kind of being brushed aside.
But last question, I understand your broader point that each situation has a different push on diplomacy. But when you think back to Reagan and why Republicans thought he was good in terms of dealing with the Soviets, was that he was tough with Gorbachev,
yep.
Not that he was out there sucking up to him.
He was tough, but he was also very friendly. He was very much in the world of wanting to get along with the Russians, but being tough where he had to be tough. He had, I think, exactly the right balance. But I don't see that anything has happened so far that would say Trump can't strike that kind of a balance, too.
Okay, that'll be the last word. Director Woolsey, we appreciate you coming in. Happy New Year.